Good morning and welcome to Morning Messages of Hope and Inspiration. My name is Jenny McBride, and today I found some scriptures in the Sermon on the Mount that I have never seen before. How many times have we read the words of Christ in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5? And I think he slid a couple new verses in there for me. Something I need to work on. Can I share this with you? This is crazy. Matthew 5, 10 through 12, okay? 10. Ready for this? They just put these in there. I have never read these before in my life. Blessed are they which are persecuted. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad. Okay, time out. Can we go over this again? Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, in verse 12. Rejoice when you're persecuted. Rejoice when people say bad things about you for Christ's sake. Rejoice and be glad. For great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. As disciples and followers of Jesus Christ, we will be reviled against. We will be persecuted for his sake, for righteousness' sake, if we choose to follow him. Christ was persecuted. Christ came and taught a new law, the higher law. He did things in ways the scribes and the Pharisees didn't like. He taught about love. He taught, don't even look at a woman to lust after her. Not just don't commit adultery, but don't even look at her with those intentions. Christ taught us the importance of how we view the world, how we view ourselves, to love our enemies. But when we're persecuted, when I'm persecuted, when people say false things about me or lie about me or accuse me of things I haven't done, I don't really rejoice. I'm not really glad, and I might not really be thinking about my eternal reward or my mansions being built in heaven. I might be tempted to really think about myself, and want to defend myself. I might want to prove them wrong. They might get me all riled up. But this scripture, this powerful scripture, teaches me some eternal truths. I should be glad and I should rejoice because I'm walking after the way of the Master and after his prophets and after his disciples who were persecuted and killed for righteousness' sake. So some people might say some bad things about me as I try to walk that path, the path that he led. As I seek to follow him, people might say some bad things about me. So what do you do? What do you do when people lie about you, persecute you, make fun of you? Oh my gosh, in high school, I was made fun of so much for choosing to not have sex before I got married, for choosing not to swear, for choosing not to drink and party. I was made fun of. But then there were others who really respected me. Do I care more about what those people think that are persecuting me for righteousness' sake? Or do I care about what God thinks? Am I willing to live his law? Am I willing to do what he asks, even if I'm persecuted? If Christ was persecuted and killed, if prophets were persecuted and killed, why would I expect my path to be free of these obstacles if I'm choosing to follow him? And I want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And I want to live his laws. And I want to learn to rejoice in the persecution. Rejoice and be glad. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad. Not even just glad, but exceedingly glad. For great is your reward in heaven. Great is our reward in heaven. So I just have a little tidbit of what helps me. See this guy? This is Rhino. It's a rhinoceros. Milo the rhino. Rhinos are known for having really thick skin. Supposedly, please correct me if I'm wrong, supposedly they have the thickest skin, and that thick skin protects them. It protects them. So as a disciple of Jesus Christ, am I willing to put on my thick skin? Am I willing to choose to love those who persecute me, to love those who revile against me, to love those who lie about me and falsely accuse me for Christ's sake? Am I willing to put on that rhino suit? Now, what is the rhino suit that can protect us? First of all, this is the cutest thing, and one of my students made it. Milo the rhino. I love this, and it's a reminder, and you've seen it sitting in the back, to remind me to have thick skin. So what is the secret of the thick skin? Charity. The pure love of Christ. His charity suffereth long and is kind. So if I accept Christ's love, how he feels about me, and I put on the thick skin and choose to give that charity back, to be a reflection of his love, to be kind to myself, as I'm learning how to be glad, exceedingly glad, and rejoice when I'm persecuted. So, don't be shocked if you're walking the way of the Master if we get persecuted or lied about. It's part of the journey. Learn how to put on the thick skin. Put it on every day. Pray for strength. Pray for the ability to love your enemies. Pray for the ability to rejoice and be exceedingly glad when you're persecuted. Give it to him. He's got this. Jesus Christ already felt and experienced everything we felt. We don't need to carry that weight. We don't need to carry it. We can still go about doing good, loving others, and seeking to do our best to follow his commandments and be an instrument in his hands. We will be persecuted. It'll happen. It happens to me all the time. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm just not sure I'm to the point of exceedingly glad and rejoicing. But I do want to rejoice with Christ. And I do want to seek that eternal reward in heaven. And I testify he has the thick skin. He can give it to us. We can arm ourselves so that those remarks or things people say don't even penetrate that thick skin. That we don't even feel it. Because he's that good. He can help us and carry us that we don't even feel it. That we can be exceedingly glad. And that we can rejoice in his love. I testify he loves us. He will shield us. And remember, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets, which were before you. We're walking the way. We're walking that path. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me in Morning Messages of Hope and Inspiration.